Hello there, my name is Dan, and over the last few years I've been working on a partial self-sufficiency project here in Essex, UK. The main purpose of my channel is to show people how to grow their own fruit and vegetables, no matter what size garden, allotment or growing space they do indeed have. So if you like my work, please feel free to like and share, and if you'd like to be notified of any other videos that I'm going to be putting up, please feel free to subscribe. So I'm going to link a load of videos down below that may be of interest to you, and put some videos on the end screen that you can click on if indeed you wish to. So today we're going to be having a little bit of a tour, and I'm going to be answering a few questions. So I've been doing a little bit of work here, getting things ready for the autumn and having a bit of a clear up. So let's make a start. Now, I was asked a question the other day about my small polytunnel. Well, here we go. This is my smaller polytunnel, okay? This is 3 meters by 2 meters, and it's from the company Feel Good UK, as is indeed my other polytunnel. So there you go. Had this up for a few years now. It survived Storm Ciara and Storm Dennis, so it's well secured. Now, you may remember that I was growing like a little food forest permaculture project in here. Now, that didn't work out quite as well as I wanted it to, but there we go, that's one of those things. Now, this is the Dixie Red peach tree, which many of you are very aware of, and it carried a massive crop this year. It's a very reliable cropper for me year after year, and I absolutely adore this beautiful tree. So you can see the tree here, it's made some good size. Now, I'm planning what to do with it. I really don't want to remove too much of the foliage, because I want next year for this to carry a huge crop. So I'm going to let it get nice and big. Now, you can see where this sort of oval bit comes round, if you will. Now, that's half of the polytunnel, so about 1.5 meters. Now, what I'm thinking about doing is cutting it back to about that line, so therefore it takes up half of the polytunnel. So there we are. Now, that leaves the space on the floor there that you can see. So what I'm thinking about doing is bringing my blueberry plants in here and having a little bit of it as blueberries and some of it as peach, and I think that would be lovely. Now you can see here, this is grape variety Autumn Royal. Now I've actually pruned this. It's not the time of year to prune grapes, okay? So don't go pruning your grapevine at this time of year upon my say-so. So what I'm thinking about actually doing is moving this to another location. I'll have to make sure that I dig up plenty of the root ball, and the time to move things like this is during the winter months. Ideally deep dormancy, like January time. That would be ideal, so I may consider doing that. The same with grape variety here, Muscat Blanc. So there we go, plenty to be getting on with. So these are some of my blueberry plants here. Got a good amount here. Now what I'm considering doing is freeing up this space and putting in here like a little vegetable patch. So that's about 1.5 meters by about, or I don't know, 1 meter, something like that. So I should be able to get a good amount of vegetables growing in there. They will be winter vegetables, so something like maybe kale, chard or spinach. Many of you are aware that I'm very fond of those particular things. So if I put them in here, that will be very nice and a good bit of food to eat during the winter months and into next spring, all being well. So here I am in my other polytunnel. Now I'm going to be doing a little bit of sowing later on, so I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. So this is my little sowing station, if you will, and what I have here, you can see I've got a few bits that can go in. This can go in, you know, this is a kale plant, and you may remember I sowed some rhubarb chard and some other, I believe it's chard, here as well, so I should be able to put them in the ground probably in about maybe a month or so, nicely ready. Okay, so I'm very fond of growing things in cell trays, okay? Now what I'm going to be doing is little cell trays like this. These are windowsill propagators, okay? Just like that. And you can see I've got my container here of multi-purpose compost, and I've got my trowel in here. This is a Wolfgarten trowel, okay? I very much recommend the variety, or the make rather, Wolfgarten for very good quality things, and you can see that there, that fits into the end of like a broom handle, if you will. They're one that they make, and you can actually do it, you know, from afar if you've got a bad back or something like that. So very, very useful indeed. So multi-purpose compost there, and all I do is simply fill these up and then I proceed to sow. So what I'm going to have is curly kale variety Westland Autumn. I've grown this before, very good, very tasty, fully winter hardy here in the UK and similar climates, and you can put that in now. Okay, so I had a question the other day, and a quite interesting one, a lady who's getting into gardening and saying, you know, it could be overwhelming, and there we go. So of course more and more people are now getting into gardening due to various reasons, and more people are getting back into it, and I think that's a great thing. And the best bit of advice I can give most people is don't try to do too much too soon, okay? Try and, you know, work into it slowly, grow things that will hopefully do well in your area, and build your success, okay? Don't do too much too soon, because if you do that you could end up, you know, failing and getting overwhelmed and despondent, and that's not what we want. Now this lady was living in an area with salty air, living by the coast, I presume. So something like spinach and chard and kale would be good for that environment, okay? If you grow those, they should do well. Do your research, do your information, and grow what grows well in your climate. Start off small, maybe like a little planter or something like that to get going, a few pots, a small space in your garden, and then move on from there. So let's have a look at what else we've got over here. Now you can see the eggplant here is looking really good. Now it hasn't got any fruit on it yet, but we'll see how that indeed does. But I'm expecting some great things from that, so that should do very well. It won't be too long now until I can harvest these late sweet corns here. By late I mean I planted them late, and it's been quite warm here today actually, so this sweet corn will be loving this here in the polytunnel. Okay, so if you've taken runners from strawberry plants, now can be a great time to plant them up, and the reason for this is because it can help to get them established before next year, and you're more likely to get a better crop next year. Now what I've got here, I believe this is variety Royal Sovereign that I took these runners from. So I'll show you here. Now this one here, this is a good specimen. So I'll just show you. Now that was the runner there, look. And I put a stone over it and it's rooted lovely. So what I can do, ideally scissors would be good for this, but I'll try and just, no I won't. There you go, I had to use two hands. So there you go, I'll show you here. Now you can see that it's actually started to put roots out from the bottom. So these, very quickly, they want to get established, they want to get their roots in, okay? They want to spread them so that they can establish themselves for good crops. So there you go. Now this can be planted out, and you know what you want to do is look how much strawberry plants cost, okay? And you know, learn to take your runners, because it's a great thing to do. Save your money over the long run. You can propagate, and if you get it right, unless you want new varieties, you'll never have to actually buy strawberry plants again. So I'll just show you here, look. Now this is in the compost bin, and you can see here the stuff at the bottom is starting to decompose nicely. Now I've got to get a brown in there, a bit of carbon, which I'm going to do soon. I may consider chucking some of these wood chips down here. I'm started logging again now. Put those in just to sort of like the 2:1 sort of ratio, 2 parts of nitrogen to 1 part of brown carbon, which I found to work out very well in the past. And then keep doing that, and then just keep turning it regularly, then you can produce very good compost quite quickly. So that's one thing that's worth doing. You want to make sure that you keep everything, your surface area, small, okay? Now the way that I tend to do this is I put something like a strimmer in there and break it up. You could put a spade in there, bash it all up. You can see that big old marrow there. I was given that by a customer actually. It went a bit hard, so chucked it in there and I bashed it up with a spade, shovel, fork, whatever, and away you go. It should break down quick. Okay, so we'll look at the Lakemont seedless here. Now these could be ready at any time now. Some of them may even be ready, and I'm just going to test some of them here. So look at these ones. These look a nice size, don't they? Look at that lovely grape there, look. Once again, like they were the other day, perfectly edible, sweet, but not quite there yet. Now, if you're growing grapes in a manner like I am here, and you consider on different levels, okay, so you've got some at the front here, some at the back, some in between. Now of course there's going to be variation between which ones are getting the most sun. It's been sunny and warm here today. Now what you want to do is just try individual ones, you know, from each individual bunch if you do something like that, because for instance this one here may be getting more sun than this one at the back here, and it can vary, okay, you know, as the vine goes on. So don't think just because one bunch is ready they're all ready and pick them all. Do not do that, okay? So I sometimes get asked about winter lettuce, okay, so there's 2 that I'm going to mention that I've done well with. The first one here is Winter Density, okay, this is very well known, fully frost and cold resistant here in the UK and similar climates, delicious. I mean, you could eat these now, you know, but I want to let them get bigger for when the days get shorter and it gets cooler, because then the growth will slow right down and in some cases completely stop. So you want to get them a good size for that time. So don't be too tempted to eat them now. This is where successional growing comes into it. Always having something ready, okay? Of course, it takes a while to get to this degree, but don't overwhelm yourself. Take your time, work into it slowly, and do your research. Right, I had a good pick here of some chilies today. Hot peppers variety Onavec, okay? And I'm going to make something, for dinner with those tonight. But so here, right, this one's not quite ready yet, okay? As you can see, it needs to go in there. Go a nice deep red. So stick variety Onavec on your list of chilies to grow if you want a nice hot chili. Okay, so there we go, loads going on here. I could really carry on quite a lot longer, but I'm not going to. So, right, now next, or eventually, I'm going to be doing an update on some of the more exotic things that I'm growing here. So there we go. Now, if you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. And of course, you can check me out on Dan_Home Gardens on Instagram if you're interested. Now, I'm spending more and more time on YouTube now. That's something that I'm able to do now because I'm not running like a what's it. So there we are. Now, comments, questions, whatever down below. Ask. I don't always answer immediately, but I'm trying to be better at that now. So there we go. Right, thanks for viewing. Enjoy your Sunday, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Goodbye.